So this is Sawmill Calculator Pro, and let me just walk you through the features real quickly of what it does. So the first thing is we have a cut list in both US, so inches, and in metric. Tap on that one. Here's the basics on how to work this. So what this is going to give you is a cut list, and many sawmills actually work from one side of the log to the other, especially band mills, and it allows you to see where my cuts are going to be. So for example, like let's say I have a kerf of a 1/16 of an inch, you can move it down to a 32nd, whatever you want to do there. And then what is the thickness I'm looking for? Like for example, if I'm going to cut 2x4 or 2x4s in this case, I'm going for 1.5 inches, and then we're going to cut for 1 5/8 and then have a little bit to finish it down with. I could change that to whatever I want. Here, change those numbers if you want. And then approximate total thickness is just how much total log you have, and then the foot remaining is whatever you have. Like let's say you have a piece of wane or just the outside of the log that's sitting at the bottom of your mill that you want to leave. We can choose the amount to leave. Let's say there's a 1-inch piece down there. And so then what this does is it gives you all the cuts. And so in this case, my last cut is going to be at 1 inch. And then each time I go up, it then gives me the measurement. And so what you can do is work down from the top, in this case, approximately 16 inches. So my first cut would be at 17 and 9/16, and then 15 and 29/32. Again, depending on how accurate you want to be, you may want to change the kerf, and then that just adds a tiny bit of thickness, even if your kerf is less than what you set it here, because if you get into 30 seconds, it gets a little bit, it can get a little bit weird. So there is with 16ths. You could even move it down to 1/8 if you wanted to, and then you're going to get, let's say you have a kerf that's actually a 32nd, you're going to get boards that are slightly thicker than 1 5/8. So anyway, this just allows you to do that. You can check off these as you cut down through. So again, not super complicated, but just does all the calculations so that you don't have to sit there and figure out exactly where to place the blade to make each cut. Now, the one thing you may ask is, hey, what if my sawmill works the other way and I cut from the other side of the blade? This is assuming that you're measuring from the bottom side of the blade. And if you hit the back button and we go to settings, there's a setting in here, the top or the bottom of the blade, or the bottom of the left. So depending on how you're cutting, just change that setting and it will allow you to get that information. So or set it up the way you want it to be set up. So the other one is, and the cut list for metric works exactly the same way, just obviously in metric. The board feet, this allows you to figure out how many board feet are in a particular board and then build those out if you want to. So it does hardwood and softwood, and the only difference here is how the measurements are done exactly. And so the softwood is like nominal thickness. You do a 2x4 or 2x6 or 2x4s or whatever you want to do. The length in feet. Now the difference is hardwood is done in quarters. And so in this case, if I wanted a 2x6, it would be 8/4. So that would be an 8/4 instead. So again, you can tap here and type in, or you can use the little sliders and put in the numbers that you want. So if I want a 6/4, there's 6/4. And then these are all set. And then you do a price per 1,000 if you want to put in prices. And so in this case, it would be $1 a board foot, or if you wanted something different, that would be $2.54 per board foot. So when you do that, you can then hit add to list. And then if you scroll in here, you can see I've added a number of things. You can then see the calculation and all the information about that, and you can get a total. So if you do just some sewing of lumber, this is a nice, easy way to do that. You also have the ability to clear the list here, or you can send an email. If you click send email, what it's going to do is it's going to make a PDF and attach that to your email document. So just allow you to email those out. I can also remove them by pressing this red X, and that way I can pretty easily see what's going on there. So anyway, that's the board feet measurement. And finally, we have log volume, which here, this allows you to estimate how much actual wood you're going to get out of a particular tree. And here we provide the diameter in inches. So in this case, a 14-inch log, let's make it 16 feet long. And then how many of these do I have? And you can adjust the quantity. Let's just say, in this case, I only have one. And then you have the different types of calculations. And so there's Doyle, Scribner, International, and Roy. And you can see that they make different calculations or different estimates. And what you'll have to see is, after using this a few times, based on the type of or the species of a tree you have, you'll see that some of these are more or less accurate because they make different kind of concessions as far as how the tree tapers and things like that. So go ahead, use this, and sometimes the diameter in inches, you'll want to take it from the center or one end. I mean, typically in the center, you're going to get maybe a little bit more accurate, but again, you just have to, based on how you're cutting and how, just are you going to take any wane, or any of the boards going to have wane? All of those kinds of questions are going to get you slightly different answers. So I'd encourage you to give this a try. And again, same kind of features here as you found in the board feet calculations. I can add this to the list. Boom, it puts it at the bottom, and then I can delete if I need to. But if you were, for example, doing timber cruising, this is a great way to do that. If you say, hey, there's a stand of trees, and there's about this many of each of the different kinds, it's a really nice, quick way to do that. So the other thing is it does give you the totals for each one here. So you can see the D is for Doyle, S for Scribner, I for International, R for Roy, for each one of the things that I've saved. And also then you have totals, grand totals at the bottom. And so here you can see what is my total based on each particular type. So obviously Roy is going to be the most optimistic, and Doyle is going to be the least optimistic, at least as far as these particular things that I put in. Same features as before. You can clear the list. You can also send an email, which will attach a PDF of all this detail to the email. So anyway, that's about it as far as this application. It does these basic things that allow you to kind of do some of the core pieces of working with timber. One other settings, the max board feet quantity. This just adjusts the little slider. So you can change this. If you deal with small numbers of board feet, you can move that down, and the slider will just be a little more accurate. So that's all that particular features for there. So anyway, I hope you enjoy using Sawmill Calculator Pro. Thank you for your purchase, and I hope you have a great day.